Hello, collectors. Welcome to Collector's Corner with Jimmy Star. This episode, we're going to talk about Funko Pop Grails, Chases, and the Hunt for Rare Treasure. So, welcome back to the Collector's Corner with Jimmy Star. The last episode, we talked about how Funko Pops became one of the biggest collectibles in the world. Today, we're going to take things to the next level. We're talking about Grails, Chases, exclusives, and the thrill of the hunt. Because let's face it, every collector dreams of finding that one pop that everybody else is looking for. The one sitting on a shelf that nobody realizes is worth a fortune. And believe it or not, it happens more often than you might think. So, first segment we're going to talk about in this episode of Collector's Corner is what is a grail? Every collector has heard the term my grail, but what does it actually mean? A grail is the collectible you want more than any other. For some collectors, it's a rare convention exclusive. For others, it's the very first pop they ever wanted but couldn't afford. A grail doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to mean something special to you. That's what makes collecting personal. So, the chase craze. Now let's talk about chase figures. For newcomers, a chase is a limited variant of a standard Funko Pop. Maybe it glows, maybe it's flocked, maybe it's metallic, maybe it's holding a different accessory. Funko randomly inserts chase figures into shipments, making them much harder to find. That's what creates all the excitement. Collectors never know when they might stumble across one, and when they do, it's like finding buried treasure. Convention exclusives. Ask almost any Funko collector about exclusives, and you'll hear stories. Stories of standing in line for hours, refreshing websites repeatedly, missing out by seconds, finally scoring that one elusive pop. Convention exclusives have become some of the most talked about collectibles in the hobby. Many become instant collector favorites, others quietly rise in value over time. The challenge is figuring out which ones will become future grails. The biggest Funko mistakes, let's be honest. Every collector has one. The pop they should have bought, the pop they sold too soon, the pop they passed on because they thought it would always be available. Then 6 months later, it's worth 5 times as much. We've all been there. The good news, there's always another collectible waiting around the corner. Let's talk about displaying your collection. Half the fun is showing it off. Collectors display pops in dedicated shelves, home theaters, gaming rooms, offices. Some people have entire Funko rooms. Some keep everything boxed. Others display them loose. Neither approach is wrong. Your collection should reflect your personality. I don't take them out of the box. I do have a few that I bought loose, so they weren't in a box. But if I have them in a box, I keep them, especially if they're autographed. So let's bust a few Funko Pop myths. The first myth is that every pop becomes valuable. This is definitely not true. Most remain affordable. The next myth is older always means more valuable. Also, not necessarily. Demand is what counts, and demand is what matters. Another myth is collecting is only about money. Absolutely not. The best collections are built around passion and what you really enjoy. So let's talk a little bit about the future of Funko. Where does the hobby go from here? Collectors are asking questions like, will Funko continue expanding? Which franchises are next? What will become the next Grails? Which current pops will be worth hunting 5 years from now? Nobody knows for sure, and that's part of what makes collecting exciting. So, for everybody listening to the show and watching the show, what's your Funko Grail? Is it a rare chase, a convention exclusive, a signed pop, the first pop you ever bought? One of mine in my collection, I have a Freddy Funko Superman from Comic-Con, I believe, and it's worth a lot of money. I also have a Rocky one, Rocky Balboa. That's a grail, and it's worth a lot of money also. So those are probably two of some of my bigger ones that aren't autographed. So let's see. Here's some Funko trivia that before we get to the end of this episode. There's thousands of pop figures have been released. Some collectors own entire rooms dedicated to pops. Chase variants are among the most sought after releases. Convention exclusive often create the biggest buzz, especially from San Diego Comic-Con. And some collectors focus on one franchise while others collect everything. I collect everything that I like. People who've been on my other podcast, the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, horror Funko Pops, superhero, and big pop culture type Funko Pops are my favorite. And just remember, Funko Pops remind us that collecting is supposed to be fun. Yes, some become valuable. Yes, some are rare. But the real joy comes from finding the characters, stories, and memories that mean something to you, because at the end of the day, every collection tells a story and every collector has one worth sharing. Thanks for joining me on Collector's Corner with Jimmy Starr. Next time, we'll explore the greatest Funko Pop collections ever assembled. Until then, keep hunting, keep collecting, and may your next pop be a chase. Now, before we sign off for the day, I like to always show little videos of my collection. So here's a little video of a birthday party of mine 6 years ago. My birthday is around Halloween, and this is the dinner table that we had set with some of my mechanical monsters for my birthday. I think you guys will dig it, so check it out. I have a lot more of them now than that, but that was what I had 6 years ago, at least most of them. But I keep collecting, and so my collection grows bigger, and we want to thank everybody for tuning into Collector's Corner with Jimmy Starr. See you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.